because it turns out that his mother wanted an abortion when she was pregnant with him, but she ended up changing her mind. Your Pops Don't Like Me I always thought was a little comedic for being a song about not getting along with a girl's dad. It's Nick Cannon, the cat you ain't used to, the rapper, actor, comedian / producer. I didn't really have any problems with Nick's music, and I always thought people were over-exaggerating when they called him trash. But oh my gosh, when I got older, I actually risked my life by listening to more of his music, and I came across loads of garbage. Okay, so the number one issue that I discovered with Nick's music is it's very hard to take him seriously. Back in the early 2000s, everything Nick did just came off as insanely corny. He was trying too hard to be funny, portraying a thug image, or trying to be older than what he really was. I'm not saying Nick didn't have any girls back then, but just hearing him rap about how much of a player he is, it just felt like dude, you're trying to portray a life that you don't live. It just came off that way. But then, of course, he just has a lot of whack lyrics. Wait, take a minute, take a flick, just freeze, cause you know the cannon be flashing. I'm getting more head than an aspirin. All up in the club with thugs like we bad. Addicted to them chicks should be up in rehab, and the ice got him stuck like freeze tag. Freeze tag, my guy? He has more of these too. Smashing girls all across the states, and I stays iced out like frosted flakes. Yo Kanye, make him rock to this, cause you know a player in his prime like Optimus. There are a few more, but y'all get the point. Then there are tracks where his entire verse or the entire song's ridiculous, such as the song Swimming with the Rangers, and definitely the Eminem diss track from 2019. Y'all know I had to mention those. And I already talked about how bad his song If I Was Your Man was in my 5 worst love songs by rappers video. Nick can make a good song sometimes, very, very rarely. But most of the time, his songs are either very average or just flat out bad. And I completely understand why he gets clowned so much for his music career.
Fumu, Benor, Moishi, crazy. Barza! Vims Yumba, Yaflob Abor, Chumcha, Nino, Flavin Wanu, Jar,
Branka Flanova.
Fino Cho. K West.
Marshall
Tebow, Gun, Luffy Yaspa.
Vicar. Oh.
Huh. Heidra Dubé.
Sam Sup. Oh, big cut. Yes. Oh. Second. Oh. So busy. Oh, so I wrote Gabba.
James de Felton. Lara.
Lisa.
Slow Briff. Sapphies. Cleman Scripto Narch. Jensiva. Yeesh. Boo.
Yalib? Milsey? Akroots and Arb. Wham? Nistibi? Slefin.
We's in a row.
Roots and Arb. Wham?
Okay.
Oh. Hiya, please. Anuba. Oh, and soon. Oh. Lean back. Oh. Oh. Lean back. Teroy. Zaffle? Chanu. Learn a pace and Galba. Washa Zabris.
Total.
Trib. Woohoo! Wazaboo. Janoy. John. And Tonitz. Yada, Yuma. Oh. Yeah.
Alright, so boom. 5 of my controversial music opinions. I guess you can call this an unpopular opinion video as well. Ever since that trend started, people been bugging me to make one of those, so here you go. Now, I'm not about to be like everyone else and just call this video controversial, unpopular, and then just go on to say a bunch of stuff that everybody else be saying. That's typically the worst thing about these type of videos. My unpopular opinion is that Tupac is not the greatest rapper of all time. There are a ton of people who say that he's not the greatest. It's not even close to unpopular anymore. People have been saying that for years. I'm going to say stuff that me, personally, I think a lot of people will hear me say this and be like, oh, this is tripping. One thing that's not controversial, though, is the song 2 AM Sessions by McHugh being a fire-ass track.
Late night sessions with the gang, the late night out of town bitches trying to hang.
Follow McHugh on his social media and check out his YouTube channel. The dude stays uploading heat to his channel, like me. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and put on that notification bell, y'all.
It's just a runaway train.
Now, I wanted to start this off with a crazy one where I really don't know if a lot of you will agree with this, but I've never been on the side of rappers nowadays need to be careful on what they say in their lyrics, or something like, rappers are poisoning the mind of this current generation. These teenagers out here listen to you rap about doing drugs and that makes them want to do it. Look, if you ask me, that's not the rapper's problem. It's really not. A rapper shouldn't have to change what they have the complete right to talk about because other people may hear it and start changing their behavior. This brings up the whole role model conversation as well. Most rappers don't care about being positive all the time or trying to be lyrical, telling kids to do the right thing. They just want to make their little ignorant hype songs and make their paper. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Another example is all of this Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion nonsense going on. People are really upset that Meg and Cardi could be negatively influencing young girls. Girls may see Megan and Cardi twerking and being ratchet and that would make them want to do it and they think it's okay. Look, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion are two grown-ass women. If they want to make a song talking about sex, they have every right to do that. You people that complain about their subject matter are really acting like all female rappers have to make the same type of music. There are female artists that make uplifting, positive music, and young girls can easily go listen to them too. Now, another thing, this also depends on the age of the listener. If you're a little kid or an early teenager, then I blame the parents. Like seriously, if you're 12 years old and you decide to start smoking or doing other things because you heard your favorite rapper talking about it, I blame your parents for not keeping you in check. If you're older, 18 and 19, older than that, and you start doing drugs because you heard your favorite rapper talk about it, then that's 100% your own fault. That has nothing to do with the rapper. These artists are just talking about the things that they do and how they live their life. They're not telling you to do it. That's your own choice. Now, there's this rapper I know by the name of J140 who did his own version of Logic's Homicide. And at one point in the song, he was saying how he thinks it's messed up how rappers don't care about what they put in their lyrics because the money is rolling in.
Basically what I'm saying is, they don't give a fuck about what they say in their songs or who it influences. As long as it's bringing in the checks.
And yes, I can't take my man Jay's side on this one. I don't think rappers have to care about who their music influences. If there's a rapper who talks about sipping lean, and there's a teenager out there who hears the song and they start sipping lean, in my opinion, that's not the rapper's concern. They can make music about what the hell they want to. And they shouldn't have to watch what they say because kids may be listening. Parents need to better control what their kids listen to. And if said kids are grown, then that's their choice to do what they want. They can listen to a song about positivity just as easily as they can listen to a song about some nonsense.
It's just a runaway train of thought. Runaway, 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 don't stop. It's just a runaway train of thought. Runaway, 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 don't stop.
Now, I really don't want to sound condescending or anything, but I think it's very pathetic to have an entire social media account dedicated to a celebrity. If it's something like, you know, like after Kobe died, many people had their social media accounts centered around him, that's fine. You can mourn. Even in cases with SSX and Tashion and Juice WRLD. In terms of mourning an artist, that's fine. But there are people who have celebrities that are alive and their account is based on them. And that's very sad if you ask me. Because it's almost like, why are you worshiping other people? These type of people that I'm talking about really hate it when you have a negative opinion on their favorite artist. But the reason why I don't take these people's opinions seriously is because those are the people that you can't change their mind on anything. A lot of the time, they think that their favorite artist is perfect, and they quick to argue with anyone who thinks otherwise. You can't convince those people of anything, and you having a discussion with them is just going to be a huge waste of your time. Now, the two most obvious fan bases that do this are stans and barbs. Y'all ever notice when someone says, Eminem is overrated? Like, he not a GOAT. Dude fell off a long time ago. He ain't made a good album since the Eminem show. It will be another person responding to them saying, shut the hell up. Eminem is the best rapper to ever grace this earth. You're just hating because you don't understand his complex lyrics. Those people that say that be having Eminem in their profile picture, they have a lyric from one of Eminem's songs in their bio, and it's just super obvious that they're a fanboy. If you have that type of profile, don't say anything to me. Because since you love the artist so much, you're gonna love almost everything they do. I want y'all to know that I'm not trolling either. I'm being real honest with this entry. I can give you another example. Say there's a conversation happening and someone says Kanye West isn't that great of an artist and his production isn't that special. If you have a Kanye West profile picture, I'm not listening to anything you say because most likely you're super biased and you just gonna ride Kanye to the moon and back. So that's all I'm saying here. Like, if you think it's condescending, I understand why, but I don't think I'm better than any of these people. I just know I would save myself the trouble by not even bothering to talk to them.
It's just a runaway train of thought. Runaway, 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 don't stop. It's just a runaway train of thought.
I know you guys have heard people say if you were a real fan, you would support a rapper you like by purchasing their new songs or their new album. Me personally, I think this argument is nonsense. I feel that consistently listening to someone's music is what makes you a real fan of that artist. If you're there every time the artist drops a new song, new mixtape or EP, or even a whole album, as long as you're checking out the music, why should whether you pay for it or not make a difference? Because for one thing, it's not like buying somebody's music is something to brag about. Say a new NBA YoungBoy album came out and we both listened to the album, except you bought it and I heard it from free somewhere. Exactly what difference does that make? The fact that you spent money on a project and I heard it for free, what do you get out of that? Like, who cares? Is that supposed to be something to brag about? I actually spent money on NBA YoungBoy's new album. I support him way more than you do. Like, who gives a fuck? The way that we are as a society, we think it's stupid to pay for something you can easily get for free. We only pay for something when we have to. So if we're being completely honest, this is an L. If you spend money on something you could have gotten for free, that's not anything to brag about at all. Now, don't get me wrong, from an artist standpoint, it's super obvious why you would want people to buy your music. And you're gonna go around telling people like, if y'all really supported me, y'all will buy my new album. I get that completely. But that's why I'm specifically speaking from the argument of whether or not buying music makes you a real fan. And in my honest opinion, money has nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter if I buy all of an artist's albums or I don't buy a single one of their albums. That doesn't make me any more or any less of a fan. The fact that I'm listening to it and I'm always there whenever you drop something new, you should be happy with that. And if you're one of these people that do this, where you think that you're a bigger fan of the artist or you support them more just because you bought their new project and somebody else didn't, then honestly ask yourself, who cares? Go outside and tell 5 people that you bought J. Cole's new album. Now go outside and tell 5 people that you just heard it for free. Just say you came across the whole album on the internet and you heard it for free. I guarantee you both of those groups of 5 people is gonna have the same reaction. Whether you bought it or not, legit, nobody cares.
Oh. Go out on the shore.
It's just a runaway train of thought. Runaway, 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 don't stop. It's just a runaway train of thought.
Now, this entry is widely brought up in the old head versus new generation listeners argument. Old heads really don't like it when younger people say they'll rather listen to a new age rapper, but not someone from back then. Because if it wasn't for this rapper, the rapper you listen to wouldn't even exist. An easy example is in regards to female rap. How many times have y'all heard people say this? I can't believe people would rather listen to Nicki Minaj but not Lil' Kim. If it wasn't for Kim, Nicki wouldn't even exist. Nicki bit Kim's whole style and persona. Now here's the thing. This is a true statement. This is true. Nicki Minaj would not be the same person that we know her as today if it wasn't for Lil' Kim. However, I don't think someone has to like Lil' Kim or her music just because this is a true statement. If someone loves Nicki but they don't care about Kim, I don't think that's an issue. Some of y'all really be acting like just because a rapper paved the way or was the first to do it, that they're automatically the best and that everyone automatically has to like them. Just because someone likes Rich the Kid or Young Thug doesn't mean they have to like Lil Wayne. Just because someone likes Logic or Token doesn't mean they have to like Eminem. And it's not even just particular rap styles. People say this about artists in general. They'll be like, oh, what? You listen to Migos, but you don't want to listen to A Tribe Called Quest? Like, y'all be saying that shit like it's a prerequisite or something. People don't have to like or listen to an old school artist just because they started doing something first. Let people listen to whoever they want to enjoy. And stop getting upset because younger kids don't like the old ass rappers that you like when you were younger. And you know what? This leads perfectly into the final opinion.
It's just a runaway train of thought. Runaway, 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 don't stop. It's just a runaway train of thought.
Hey, listen. Now, this is the opinion that made me even want to make this video. I was thinking about this one day and I said, damn, this is actually some true talk. This is a real thing. This is so serious where I'm not even going to play any background music or say a joke. I don't even tell a joke. I just say regular shit and y'all be laughing, bro. Y'all weird. But listen though, listen. What I mean by pre-2000 is too far back. 2000 is like a cutoff year for me when it comes to checking out anything. This can be said about a TV show, a movie, music, whatever. But anything before that year is too long ago in my opinion. If there's a music album that you want me to check out and you say, yo, Amir, you gotta listen to this album by this rapper. Every song on this project is heat. I promise you gonna rock with it. If I look up the album and I see that shit came out in like 1991, there's a very high chance I'm not gonna wanna listen to it. And yes, I'm being so serious right now. If that release date doesn't start with a 20, there's going to be a part of me that immediately becomes uninterested in checking it out. Now, if you're watching this and you're saying like, bro, you tripping, it's a lot of good shit from the 90s. You're missing out. I'm sure I am. Like, I'll give y'all the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure there's a lot of great stuff that came out in that decade. Well, first of all, I'm saying 90s, but I legit mean everything before this millennium. If you try to get me to listen to some stuff from the 80s and 70s, you really pushing it. All of those people like Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J, Run DMC, man, fuck them niggas. I'm not going back that far. I'm not saying that I would never listen to anything from those times, so don't take it that way. I don't mean never. But I mean, if you're going to recommend me something, and if it didn't come out in the year 2000 or after, honestly, don't even bother. Because once I see that it came out before the year 2000, there's a high chance I'm going to just tell you, no, I'm good. Now, here's the crazy part. Listen. Here's the crazy part. How I feel about the 90s and music from earlier is exactly how some younger people feel about music from the 2000s decade. People that were born in 2002, 2005, any year during that time span, those people aren't going to want to listen to an album that came out when they was a baby or even before they was born. Look at College Dropout by Kanye West. That album came out in 2004. 2004 was a super long time ago, bro. If you try to recommend that album to a kid nowadays, they'll easily say 2004. This was 16 years ago. Why are you recommending me this old ass album? So with that being said, I can't even trip if a teenager right now were to say, I ain't listening to nothing that came out before 2005. That's too far back for me. I can't get mad at that because that's exactly how I feel about music that was released before my time. It's really trippy when you think about stuff like that. So this entry and the number 4 entry, they tied together a little bit in the sense of, I know there's going to be some OGs of hip hop watching this right now that's going to call me super ignorant for saying I don't want to go listen to music that far back. And my question to y'all is, why is that bothering you? If I tell you that I don't want to go listen to an Ice-T album because it came out in like 1990 and hearing me say that just bothered you, ask yourself this honest question, why is that bothering you? It is 2020, bro. You really think somebody wants to go listen to an album that came out 30 years ago? Like, y'all shouldn't be expecting that from me. It's going to be the same thing in the far future. Soon it's going to be 2045. You're going to try to recommend a kid to listen to Dependable Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar. And the kid is going to say, that album came out in 2015. I'm not going all the way back there to listen to that. It sounds crazy, but that's how people's reaction is over time. You can't expect people to want to go listen to an album that came out a long ass time ago. And just to clean this up, just so anybody like might assume this, I'm not saying that I've never heard an album that came out before 2000, so don't think it that far. I've heard a ton of albums that came out around that time. I'm just saying in regards to recommendations, if you want me to listen to an album and that shit came out in like 86, don't even bother. You might as well not even bother.
I reach out.
I'm just supernova with
Alright, so boom. My controversial music opinions. The last time I made this video, a lot of people didn't pay attention to what I said in one of my entries, and I still catch flack for it to this day. The last entry in part 1, I said that I don't care that much for rap music that came out before the year 2000 because I was born in 1996. I didn't grow up during that era. I grew up on 2000s and 2010s music. For that reason, I don't really care about listening to music that came out when I was super young or before I was even alive. If you recommend me a rap album that came out in 1989, there's an extremely high chance I'm not going to listen to it. I'll only listen to pre-2000s rap if I have my own genuine interest in checking it out. But when it comes to receiving recommendations from people, if it came out before 2000, you might as well not even bother telling me about it. Now, for some reason, people heard that and started going around saying, this nigga Amir said all hip-hop that came out before the year 2000 is garbage. Y'all don't be paying attention to nothing, man. A YouTuber would say one thing and instantly y'all hear something else and create a whole extra narrative around it for y'all own self-pleasure. But since y'all do want to hear something else, then hear this song Roll One by SIM, who is not only a rapper, he also produced this song as well.
Swept low. Still alright. The target baby. Wait now.
Oh, Garza.
Follow SIM on his Instagram, Twitter, and SoundCloud to hear him go crazy on more tracks like this one. Now it's time for me to say what's on my mind. Part 2 of my controversial music opinions. Let's get it. Oh yeah, I'm coming out the gate hot on this one. Come on now. Come at me. There are times in this section where I'm gonna be talking about black women as a whole, and other times I'm gonna specifically be talking about dark-skinned black women. So the reason why I believe that black women can't handle criticism on black female artists is because I have seen time and time again a situation where a black female singer or rapper will be getting criticized for a song or an album they put out, and while they're receiving these negative criticisms, one of the first things that someone responds with is, y'all only down her neck like this and talking junk about her because she's black, or because she's dark-skinned. If this was a girl of another race, or if this was a light-skinned chick, y'all wouldn't be attacking her like this. Now, don't get me wrong. I do understand where this all stems from. When it comes to dealing with the world and society in general, black women have it hard. From the workplace to dealing with men, like any capacity you want to say it, yes, I do understand that black women are torn down and attacked by others. So when there is a black woman succeeding in whatever field or career she has, it makes y'all personally proud of her because you can relate to her. And you think, like, this is amazing. Like, someone who looks like me is in the spotlight and they're representing for us. I totally get all of that. But, hell, I'll come on and say it. Black women are very defensive and very sensitive. And that bleeds over into media consumption. Y'all be finding the smallest reasons to think y'all are being attacked because of who y'all are, instead of just accepting that not everybody is going to be in love with a singer or rapper as much as you. Just because a female artist is black, that doesn't make her immune from getting criticism. Y'all need to understand it. It could be something like Flo Milli. She could be spitting like a freestyle on somebody's radio station or somebody's YouTube channel. She'll be freestyling somewhere, and a person will leave a comment saying that they didn't rock with it. They'll say that her flow was trash, she has some black punchlines, whatever the case may be. And y'all be so quick to jump down their throat and be like, stop hating on a black queen. Or, y'all stay putting black women down. I bet if this was somebody else, you wouldn't be hating her this much. And I've seen so many comments like this to the point where it gets on my nerves, and I'm kind of ashamed at y'all for reacting this way. It can be anybody from Flo Milli, SZA, Ari Lennox, Doechii, Mona Leo, Tink, and a few others. If y'all see any of these women get a hate comment, instead of just ignoring it or simply saying, stop hating, y'all always specifically throw in, stop hating on a black woman. This is why black women can't get to the top or find any success, because people like you love to put them down. It don't even got to be a hate comment. Somebody can give a genuine criticism of an artist and give you a very fair reason for why they don't like something that a dark-skinned woman did, and immediately y'all would jump up to say, oh, if you hate black women, then just say that. The final thing I'm gonna say on it is this. I get the colorism thing too. People be saying, like, Saweetie, for example, only got as far as she did because she's a light-skinned woman, and that if she was dark-skinned, it wouldn't be this many people paying attention to her. I've seen that be talked about a lot of times too. Pretty privilege and light-skinned privilege. Overall, I'm not saying that y'all are completely tripping for having the belief that y'all do. I'm solely saying that y'all use that belief that black women are held back from being successful as a comeback for everything. And no, I'm not projecting here. I'm not somebody that's out here talking trash about black female artists all the time, and I'm saying this to defend myself. But no. I see these type of responses everywhere, like regardless of who says it. People are not even allowed to say that they don't like something that a female artist did, because the first thing y'all respond with is, if you hate black women, then just say that. Or y'all call them a misogynist, and it's irritating as hell.
This nigga, I've been through it all. Had it all, rain in the fall, tryna go, just find my way out. But there's so many haters involved.
Now, one thing that I'm sure we all can agree with is that nostalgia is one of the biggest factors that leads to people having flawed opinions on things. People a lot of times don't even revisit a song or an album. They just go off of their initial opinion from when they've heard it years and years ago. And more specifically, they bring up a personal memory that they have with the song or album and use those memories to say that the thing they're talking about is just amazing. So the way I always break it down, just to help y'all understand what I'm saying here, is this. There's a difference between saying that you like a song and saying that you think a song is good. For some reason, a lot of people don't understand that, and they look at it straightforwardly, like, If you like a song, that means you think it's good. And if you don't like a song, that means you think it's bad. For those of you who watch my song ranking videos, you already understand that I can distinguish the two. I have my guilty pleasure tier where I talk about songs that I can honestly admit are ass, but I still enjoy the song because like it makes me laugh or something. But I also have my not so good, which are songs that although I don't like them, I'll give them their due credit and say that they're good, and I understand why somebody else would call them fire. So when I ask someone, why do you think a song is good? I'm specifically asking you to talk about the instrumental, the flows, the rhyme schemes, the melodies, the punchlines, like something technical about the song. So for example, if I ask you, why do you think a song is good, or why is this album or mixtape great, and you say something like, man, I remember when I was on the basketball team in 11th grade, me and all my teammates would play that song in the locker room to hype us up for the game that night. That was our go-to song every game night, man. It brings back so many memories. I'ma look at you like, nigga, you're not answering the question. Like, you listening to the song every night when you was on the basketball team in 11th grade doesn't have shit to do with the song being good. If I asked you, why do you love the song so much, then yeah, sure, that makes sense. But I asked you to explain why it's a good track, and you're not even talking about any of the specifics of the song. You're just talking about your childhood memory with the song. A lot of people, if you ask them why they think a song is good, they can't even explain any technical aspects or the intricacies of the song. They'll start talking about a bunch of other stuff, how they loved the song when they was younger. I guess people think that the memories they have for the song just makes it better than something else. And honestly, you emo rap fans out there might get mad at me, but artists like XXXTentacion, Juice WRLD, and all them other dudes who made songs about being depressed or getting over a relationship, your memories with those things don't make a song better than another one either. If you say that All Girls Are the Same by Juice is a better song than Young Brats by Etch, and I ask you like, okay, why do you think All Girls Are the Same is better? And you start saying stuff like, man, All Girls Are the Same, that song just really spoke to me. When that song came out, this was around the time I found out my girl cheated on me. She broke my heart when I found that out. And the craziest part is that she was the third girlfriend I had that cheated on me. So I just came to realize that, man, all these hoes are the same, man. They all for the streets. Some of y'all may disagree with me, but hey, I'm gonna say it. That's not a good answer to that question. I asked you, why do you think All Girls Are the Same is better than Young Brats? And you gave me this whole speech about how you was upset because your girl cheated on you. Like, I didn't ask you that. You're more so explaining why you like the song more and that you can relate to it more. But you liking it and being able to relate to it doesn't make it better than the next track. I know this may be a wild opinion, but this is something I started to peep a couple of months ago. I've noticed that a lot of people can't tell the difference between what's their favorite and what they think is the best. Love Yours is the best J. Cole song ever, man. Like, that's easily his #1 track. Oh, word? Okay, why do you think that's his best track? Man, when I used to walk to football practice, man, I used to listen to that song all the time. Like, bro, ain't nobody ask you about fucking football practice, bro. About half of the things that I just said in the previous entries applies to this entry as well, so I'll go into more detail. In my personal opinion, explaining why you like or dislike a song is not a hard task to do. It's really not. A lot of y'all be so stuck. If someone asks you to explain why you like or dislike a song, y'all be acting like they asked you to find the cure to world hunger. So I'm gonna start this by saying what my definition of a hater is, because y'all already know the word hater is thrown around so loosely that it don't make no sense. You can't say anything slightly negative about a person without being called a hater. So school is now in session type shit. A mere simple definition of a hater is a person that says that something is bad or they don't like it, but they can't explain why they think it's bad or why they don't like it. Like I said in the second entry, the things that you can say on why a song is fire, you can use those same things to say why you think a song sucks. I thought the beat was too basic. Like, I think the bars were elementary and weak. The rapper was using that hippity flippity fast kind of flow, so it sounded pretentious. Like, it's dead ass not hard to explain why you don't like something. And yet, so many times, and I know y'all seen this too, a person would be like, bro, that song is ass, boy, that song is terrible. It's terrible? Dang, like, why do you think it's terrible? I mean, I don't know, bro, I just don't fuck with it. This type of response is the perfect example of what I mean. If somebody asks you, why do you think a song sucks, and you say, I don't know, I just don't fuck with it, you a hater, bro. Ain't no way around it. You just hating at that point. But hold on. Time to flip it. Time to reverse it. The opposite end of hating is desucking. This is another thing that I know y'all see all the time too. You can't even give somebody the smallest compliment or a little bit of support because immediately somebody would be like, oh, why you dick sucking, bro? Or like, damn, the dick eating is crazy right now. So everything I just said about how you're a hater if you can't explain why you don't like a song, I honestly think the other way around is true as well. If you say that a song is magnificent, that is an absolute banger, and I ask you, why do you think the song is amazing? You know, what do you love about it so much? And you respond with, I mean, it's, I don't know, bro, I can't explain it. The song is just fire. Let's leave it at that. I'm gonna be real with y'all. If you respond like this, I'm gonna call you a dick sucker. Because how can you not explain why you like the song? Like, I'm sorry, but like, how do you have a difficult time saying why you like a song? I really don't get that. Every time I use the word song, I also mean like album or mixtape as well, because everything I'm saying also applies to projects. Dirty Sprite 2 is the best trap album of all time, man. Ain't nothing touching DS2. Oh, for sure, for sure. Why do you think DS2 is the best trap album of all time? I can't explain it, bro. You just gotta go listen to it. I can't explain why it's amazing, but it is. Come on now, man. I'm gonna tell you to get off Future's nuts if you respond like that. He already got plenty of girls to do that for him. Okay, now let me say that this entry is going to be me speaking from complete bias, and that's because I never had an account and I don't use any of the streaming services that y'all use. Spotify, Apple Music, I don't know, Pandora. Any of them apps I've never used. And the reason I don't is because I have had YouTube Music ever since 2015. YouTube Red, I believe, is what they used to call it back in the day. But because I have YouTube Red, I literally don't need any of the other services. Because every new music album gets uploaded to YouTube. It don't matter what genre it is, it don't matter what artist it is. Every new project that drops nowadays, it gets uploaded to that artist's music page. So I can go straight there if I want to hear it. You can listen to music offline and you can close the app and the music will still be playing. Like, I seriously don't understand the hate for YouTube Music, by the way, because I have seen people say, imagine having YouTube Music in 2022, and I don't get the joke behind it. The whole reason I'm bringing this up is because of this. I'm specifically highlighting older mixtapes and older projects from like 10 plus years ago. Sometimes you don't even need YouTube Music to listen to older projects. It be a lot of older albums and mixtapes that are on YouTube for free. You don't even need a damn account to sign into. If you search it up on YouTube, the whole project, bam, right there for you. But I have seen time and time again someone say, man, I want to listen to this mixtape so bad, but it's not on streaming services, so I may have to skip it. Meanwhile, the whole time that person is saying that, if you would have spent 5 seconds looking for it on YouTube, you would have found it and listened to it by now. I'll give you an easy example. J. Cole's Friday Night Lights mixtape. I saw a tweet that said, this mixtape doesn't get the credit it deserves, and so many people don't know about it because it's not on streaming services. First of all, Friday Night Lights I don't think was the best example for this guy to use to cheat at this. Because any real J. Cole fan knows this project exists, and many people think it's better than some of his albums. A lot of people will tell you it's top 3 in his catalog, so it most definitely gets its credit. However, like I said when I first started off this entry, Friday Night Lights is on YouTube for free, the entire mixtape. There's even a video that's 73 minutes long of someone playing the entire thing in one video. And yet, the top comment on the video is, put this on Apple Music and Spotify. The young kids need this type of energy. If there's any young person out there that wants to listen to this mixtape, but they hear that it's on YouTube instead of Spotify, so they change their mind on checking it out, to me, that simply says you weren't that interested in listening to it in the first place, if you gave up that easily. I want to check out that Friday Night Lights mixtape by J. Cole, dog. I always hear it be praised as one of Cole's best projects, but I've never heard it before. Hell yeah, you should check it out, bro. Yeah, the whole thing is on YouTube. Dang, only on YouTube? It's not on Spotify? Nah, it's not on Spotify. But like I said, you can go listen to it on YouTube for free. Nah, bro, I'm straight. I don't want to listen to it on YouTube. Then shut the fuck up then. Clearly, you don't want to listen to it if it not being on Spotify is a huge deal. Why do y'all act like y'all need an album to be on streaming services? Especially if it already exists on YouTube. Like, please comment down below and tell me why. I get the small reasons, like, you know, same thing with YouTube. Like, I can probably close the app and it'll be playing in the background. Or for a lot of y'all who be having, like, Spotify hooked up in y'all cars, like, oh, on my Spotify, I can listen to it while I'm driving. Like, I do get that, but that kind of adds to the problem. That's such a specific scenario to listen to music in. If you really wanted to check out an album or a mixtape, finding out that it's not on Spotify should not be that big of a deal breaker. If you really wanted to listen to it and it's on YouTube or even that piff, you would just listen to it on there. Which goes into my last point. The last thing I'm gonna say on why I believe an album not being on streaming services isn't a big deal is because I feel if you really wanted to listen to a project, you wouldn't be picky about what service it's on. And that's the bottom line on it. It can be on YouTube, it can be on that piff. Y'all won't even look on these other sites. If it's not on Apple Music or Spotify, y'all just immediately give up. I find it very, very stupid to say, I want to listen to this album, but it's not on streaming services. And then when someone tells you that it's on YouTube for free, you just go, oh no, if it ain't on Spotify, then I'm good. I'm sorry, but that's dumb as hell to me. I talked about this in my double standards in hip hop video. I'll link that video in the pinned comment. And one of the things I said in that video was that people only question your occupation or your experience with making music when you say something negative about a song or a project. But if you say something positive, nobody questions who you are or where you come from. I'm not about to go into full detail on that part. If you want to fully understand what I mean, then go watch that video. But I believe that artists have this feel of entitlement that just because they spent a lot of time working on something, that everybody in the universe that hears it has to like it or has to think it's good. Now, it was actually a tweet from IDK that made me remember this point, and I want to show y'all. So he said, people be putting their heart and soul into a song only for some group of kids who never made art outside of arts and crafts to call it mid. Sometimes they only say that because they heard somebody else call it mid, not because it's their actual opinion. Now, I will agree with his second point for sure. People who jump on hate bandwagons have always been a thing. But this first point is what I mean by feeling entitled. We be out here putting our heart, our soul, our blood, sweat, and tears into our work, and y'all just be calling it mid. Nigga, just because you put your heart and soul into something doesn't mean that everyone has to enjoy it. And that doesn't mean that everybody's going to rock with it. Of course, you gonna think it's good because it's your own work. But when rappers see that somebody else don't enjoy their work, they sound like some damn crybabies when they say stuff like this. I worked really, really hard on this. How dare you call it trash? Let me say something right now. This is even for all of you up and coming rappers. All of you aspiring artists out there that's watching this video. I'm going to say this right now. And please pay attention to what I'm about to say. It's an old saying, but a lot of musicians don't understand this. So listen up, please. You cannot please everybody. Period. If you're somebody that's becoming a musician and you think that every single song you put out is going to be something hard hitting to everyone that hears it, then you are in the wrong line of work and you're very much mistaken. The hard truth is that there are going to be people in the world that come across your music and they just flat out won't like it. They may call it mediocre or they may say it's garbage. Either way, don't sit around crying about it. The reason why artists feel this way to begin with is because making your own music has a really strong connection to you. When you release an album, it feels like having a child. No, it's your pride and joy. When you sit down and thoroughly work hard on putting a song together, it can crush your damn soul when people say it's not good. I completely get that. What I'm saying is, just because you spent a lot of time working on a song or an album doesn't mean that people aren't allowed to say that it isn't good. You aren't automatically given brownie points. Y'all acting like if someone hears your song and they think it sucks, they're supposed to say, even though I don't like the song at all, I don't think it's good. Hey, he worked really hard on this, so I don't want to say that it's ass. Bro, I don't care if you spent 2 years, 2 months, 2 weeks, or 2 hours working on this. I listen to it and I think it's garbage, so I'm gonna say it's garbage. I'm not about to suppress my honest opinion just to make you feel better. If you approach a random ass person on the street, somebody who's never made a song before, they've never produced a song before, they never set foot in the studio, nothing. If you play your new song for them and they say, hey man, I loved it, that actually sounded really good, you just gonna say thank you and go on with your day. You're not about to really care who they are. You won't even ask them to explain why they think it's good. You'll just say thank you and keep it pushing. But if you approach the same type of individual and play your new song for them and they say, that sounded terrible, dude, oh my goodness, you made that? That was not good. Y'all instantly start crying and complaining, man, who are you supposed to be? Where your songs at? I don't see you in the studio putting together a beat or a song. You don't know how difficult it was for me to make this. To end this video off, I want to show y'all another nonsensical tweet that I saw some months ago. Some hip-hop page had asked what is the most disappointing hip-hop album of 2022 so far, and this response from this dude right here is exactly the type of virtue signaling entitlement that I'll be talking about. He said, the one that was never created. When these artists pour their hearts out, regardless if you feel it's good or not, it still took some hard work and deep thought to bring something to life that never existed before. Delete this question. As soon as I read this dude's tweet, I immediately said to myself, he gotta be an up-and-coming rapper or a producer himself, because that's the only reason he'll say some bullshit like this. It's that rapper entitlement that y'all be having. These people worked hard on this piece of art that they put together, so who are you to call it disappointing or bad? And lo and behold, I was right. He is an up-and-coming artist. Go figure. But hey, go stream Benny Hendrix, man. But whatever song you come across, make sure that you say it's good. Like, you have to. Because if you say it's mid or you say it's garbage, he gonna say, how you gonna say that this isn't good? I worked hard on this.
How dare you?
Alright, so boom, y'all. My pessimistic music opinion. In this video, I'm going to be telling you guys certain viewpoints and certain opinions I have on music discussions and how fans of music act as a whole. And the reason I'm labeling these as pessimistic opinions is because I can admit that the way I perceive these things is more negative than it should be. Like, after watching this video, I can completely understand why some of y'all would look at me and think I'm mean, or y'all might go, bro, why are you looking at this like it's a bad thing? Because the way I'm about to describe these opinions can be looked at as unnecessarily negative. But I don't care, man. This is honestly how I feel when it comes to these particular topics. The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma. I'm gonna need y'all to lock in because this is about to be a long video. Let's get to the first opinion. Let me say right now, when it comes to this first entry, I am not super OD when it comes to thinking like this. I don't fully believe that any single time a person says something is no skips, that it's automatically meat riding. You know, I'm not one of those people that has memes saved in my phone where if I see a person say, man, this album is all hits, no misses, I'm gonna respond with a dick riding driver's license. Like, it's not that serious. What I mostly mean when it comes to this entry is longer albums. When it comes to these rap albums that be having 18, 20, 23 or more songs, when I see people say, man, this album ain't got no skips on it, bro. It's 21 songs on here and all 23 songs go hard. When I hear people say that, instead of looking at the album and going, dang, you say all 21 songs are fire? I may be missing out on some heat, man. Let me check the album out. I will more so look at you and think, bruh, an album that long can't possibly not have any skips. Like, you sound like you're on dick right now. I'll say I have this reaction about half of the time. 50% of the time when I hear someone say an album is amazing, every single song is great, not a single skip, it makes me give that person the side eye like, yeah, alright, dude, relax. And it could be albums that I haven't listened to myself. Like I kind of just said earlier, if it's an album that I haven't even heard, instead of being intrigued into checking it out, I'ma assume out the gate that you're hyping up the album too much if I hear you say something like, every song on here is wonderful. Now, when it comes to albums that I have heard myself, that I personally think do have skips, that's really when I feel like this if I hear someone say it's a no skip album. And I have two examples. One of them is hypothetical on how I would react. Another one is a real life example of somebody fanboying that I've actually seen happen in real time. And I went, oh no, you should be ashamed of yourself for hyping up this album like this. Before showing y'all what those two examples are, I want to say that calling somebody a meat rider because they like an album more than you is ridiculous. I'm not saying that if I think something is weak and you like it, that I'm about to jump on you and start calling you names. It's clearly just a difference of opinion. You know, not everybody has to like or dislike something as much as you do. But sometimes people just be over exaggerating when they praise something, and it makes you look at them like, hey, damn, you kind of giving this too much credit, like calm down. Here's a quick example right here. A few months ago, I was watching a video about Outkast, and some dude in the comments said, Outkast has the best discography in hip hop, hands down. Now, that's fine right there. The very next sentence took this from a legit comment to a meat riding comment. Every Outkast album doesn't have a skippable track. This is just straight nonsense to me. Outkast are indeed GOATs and have some great music, but to say, aside from Idlewild, they don't have a single skip on any of their 5 albums, that's out of this world meat riding to me. Now, the first album that I had this reaction with, which was a real life scenario, was Polo G's 3rd album, Hall of Fame. This album was released at midnight on June 11, 2021. Tell me why. Within an hour after this album was released, I saw a tweet from someone that said, Hall of Fame is one of the greatest albums that I've ever listened to. The versatility, the features, just everything about this album is incredible. Polo G is such a talented artist. When I tell y'all I have never seen someone glaze another person this damn fast, I saw this tweet the night the album dropped and went, there is no way in hell this is real. The number one reason why I didn't take this tweet seriously though, is because it came from a Polo G fan account. Dude got Capalot in his profile picture, he got Capalot tagged in his bio. You tagged him in this very tweet, so you really wanted him to see this. So once I peeped that this was a Polo G fan account, that's really when I went, oh, you saying that Hall of Fame is an incredible album means absolutely nothing because you're practically in love with this man. So of course you gonna say all this. Some of you may call me messed up for saying this and say, just because this is a Polo G fan account doesn't mean he's beat writing. He's probably just actually a huge fan of Polo's music. Nah, bro, I'm not trying to hear that. Doing this for any artist is weird as hell. And finally, a hypothetical example that I will use is Drake's Scorpion album. 25 songs is on Scorpion. Literally everybody knows that the main issue with this project is that it's bloated, and it would have been better had he scrapped several tracks. And although there are some people who think it's an overhated project, to call it a fantastic album with no skips would be top tier delusion to me. If you are a normal human being, I legit don't think it's possible for you to listen to Scorpion and go, well, hey, I enjoyed every track. I think every track on there is great. I will immediately assume that you're a Drake stan if you said something like this. And this is how I feel half the time when I see people overly praise a project. Instead of looking at the project in a positive light, I'm gonna look at you like, tone it down a little bit. You're doing the most. Now this entry applies to rappers and producers. When I say having a lot of songs in the vault is not a flex, I'm also saying having a lot of beats is not a flex. So this is what I mean. There are artists out there that have so much music, they just constantly uploading and releasing new songs that some people will look at them and say, dang, they have a very strong work ethic. They stay in the studio day in and day out. They really be in the booth grinding. I'm one of those people that thinks quality will always be more important than quantity. So when I hear a rapper or a producer say, man, I got hundreds of songs in the vault. I can put out 8 mixtapes right now if I wanted to. Bro, I got so many beats on my hard drive. I got like 1,000 beats that I made that are just sitting around. I don't look at that as having a strong work ethic. I look at that as more so, oh, so you just be in the studio throwing anything together, huh? How the hell do you have 400 songs in the vault? How? Out of that 400, I already know that most of them can't be that good if you haven't put them out and you just got them sitting around in storage. 1,000 beats, bro, it gotta be a whole bunch of mid beats on that hard drive if you have that many. I have an example of artists doing this and a producer doing this that I'm about to show y'all. First, when it comes to rappers, some people where you can tell it's obvious that they're just throwing together a bunch of tracks on all of their tapes is Soulja Boy and Gucci Mane. Soulja has over 65 mixtapes and Gucci has about 80 mixtapes. I don't even have to listen to these 80 mixtapes by Grew Up to know that there's a lot of lazy throwaway tracks on them. It would be impossible for anybody to have 60 to 80 tapes without having a bunch of skips in there somewhere. But an artist I really want to show is the Migos. Just wait on it! Because these fellas are the entire reason I have this opinion in the first place. Back in summer 2021 when the Migos was on the Breakfast Club after the release of Culture 3, Offset mentioned at one point, on my phone, I can literally show y'all, we got like 500, 700 songs that we recorded. Then Quavo and Takeoff said that they did as well. Shit, all three of us got a storage of like 500, 700 songs. And it's all different songs amongst all three.
Let's see. Lock him a fetch.
We probably got like 700 songs recorded since we dropped. I can show them on my media too. Like it's like 600 songs, 589.
I got one and he got one.
The first time I heard this, I was mind blown, but I wasn't mind blown in a good way. I didn't go like, damn man, between the three of y'all recorded at least 1,500 songs? That's amazing. I went, see, this is why y'all albums be filled with a whole bunch of boring ass tracks because y'all make too much music. It literally reflects inequality of the album. Both Culture 2 and Culture 3 are loaded with skippable tracks. You can tell that the fellas was going in the studio making songs quick as hell. And this was essentially confirmed by somebody in their camp. DJ Darrell, a longtime producer of Migos and the guy that executive produced Culture 2. In an interview, Darrell said that the Migos could knock out a song in about 20 minutes when they was recording Culture 2. And when it came to songs that they needed additional time with, at most they could make a song in 45 minutes. This is the BS that I'm talking about. When I hear this, I'm not impressed. This makes me go, see, This is why Culture 2 is so goddamn boring, because y'all was throwing together songs in 20 minutes. Like, y'all tripping. Another quick example is DC the Don. Back in August 2023, DC the Don posted a picture of a car with a shattered window, and he said, somebody stole my laptop that had like 300 songs on it. Now, I didn't know DC the Don had haters really, but it was people replying to his tweet saying things like, God is good, let's go, this is the best news I've heard in a while, my summer has now been made, things like that. But one reply in particular, someone told DC, just let them fly, bro. You know, just forget about them 300 songs. And DC replied to that person and said that those 300 songs weren't even mixed and that they all sounded like crap. So now what? Him saying, so now what? I don't know if he's saying that to mean, oh, I don't really care. My laptop of 300 songs got stolen, but those 300 songs were all unmixed and sounded like crap, so I don't really care. But my thing is, why do you even have 300 songs that you were working on? Like, that's wild to me. I completely get having a verse here, a freestyle there, this song right here, maybe over a new type of production that you're experimenting on. You're testing out a new flow on this one. I understand that. But 300 is a large number. Some of those songs were going to be weak as hell anyway, if you had that many sitting around. What about Chris Brown? I know Chris Brown has been in the game for almost 20 years now, but for that man to say he has nearly 15,000 unreleased songs, this is why his later albums be having 50 songs each. He got so much damn music, he just be throwing stuff on his project nowadays. The very last person I want to show y'all is the producer Nick Mirror. Nick Mirror once tweeted that over the past few years, he's had over a couple thousand beats that he made that were sitting in his library. And he actually took the time to re-listen to most of the beats, and he was only impressed by less than 20 of them. This ratio is horrible. You have a library of over 2,000 beats that you've made in the past 3 years and you only like 20 of them? Nick then said after this, I restarted my whole library and from now on I'm only making beats that I love and truly feel. It's time for quality over quantity. Now this is where the hater, pessimistic side of me comes in. I could already tell that most of those beats in that library wasn't that good, even without him admitting that. No producer makes a couple thousand fire beats in a few years and just has them sitting around. That is not possible to me. I understand that you don't want to sell a beat to just anybody. I understand saving a beat for a particular artist that you want to work with because you think they'll sound the best over it, so you want them to have it. And like I mentioned earlier with DC the Don, I understand that some beats may just be you experimenting with new sounds here and there, but not 2,000 beats, bruh. For Nick to even have that many just lets me know he was throwing together just anything and that a lot of the beats weren't anything special, which he pretty much confirmed him damn self since he said he cleaned out his whole library. Like the old saying goes, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all. I don't agree with this sentiment when it comes to critiquing art. This is where I disagree. Once you create something and you put it out there in the world for it to be judged by other people, a person can say anything positive or negative about that product if that's how they feel. Whether they think it's good or bad, great or garbage, amazing or terrible. People can say what they want. But here's the flip side to that. Some people, even if they think something is trash, they're not going to say it because they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. These are the type of people I'm coming after in this entry. I can go off on other types of people that say other nonsense too, like you should never call something bad because that's disrespectful to the creator. People put their heart, energy, money, and time into their work, so that's so mean to just say that it sucks.
I don't like to call music trash. All I'm saying is for me, it's not for me. At the end of the day, that's all it is. It's not trash. It's not exactly.
That logic is stupid as hell too. Just because a person put their time and energy into something doesn't mean everybody in the universe has to think it's good. You taking time to work on something doesn't make you immune to negative comments. People who say stuff like, if you don't like something, that's fine, but you don't have to say it's bad, are people who have very soft skin. And don't even get me started on other people who say stuff like, if you're not an artist yourself, then your opinion isn't important because you don't know how hard it is to make music. I've already discussed that ridiculous logic too in my double standards in hip hop video. But the people I want to talk to in this entry are the people who say things like this. I don't want to say something is bad because I don't want to offend the people that do like it. When I hear stuff like this, it irks my nerves. For the people watching this video that think like this, please let me know. Why do you think like this? You do realize that talking about a product and then talking about the people that enjoy the product are two different things, right? If you think a song or an album is bad, you have every right to say it's bad. You're not talking about the other people that do like that song or album. So why are they even on your mind? Why are they stopping you from saying what you truly feel? I don't like to call something bad because I don't want the people who do enjoy it to feel bad or to think I'm judging them. I don't like to call anything bad because just because I disliked it doesn't mean someone else out there doesn't like it. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. These type of phrases, people who say stuff like this, you are soft as hell, in my opinion. I have never felt like this on my YouTube channel at all. If I say something sucks and you get offended by it, that's not my problem. I'm not judging you for liking it unless I explicitly say that. You know, if I say something like, oh, if you think this is fire, you got low standards. Something like that, I'm clearly judging you for liking it. But other than that, if I simply say, man, this song is whack, and you get offended by that, then that's not my problem. I'm not about to withhold my honest opinion on a song just to make you feel better. And honestly, I think the people who do act like this are virtue signaling. If you don't know the definition, virtue signaling is when someone says or does something because they believe it will make them look like a nice person in the eyes of others. Like, if I say this or if I do this, it will make me look like someone of good moral character. Just like that DC the Don clip I showed y'all. I honestly think DC is virtue signaling in that clip. I don't call anything bad. I just say it's not for me. Even if I think something is bad, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to disrespect the artist. That's so disingenuous to me. We all come across stuff that we think is bad. Like, it's okay to say it, bro. I even heard Vince Staples say that one time. There's no such thing as bad music. If you don't rock with something, then just leave it at that. But to call it whack, you're shitting on the people that do like it. No, I'm not shitting on the people that do like it. That's a whole different thing. What the hell are y'all talking about? The reason why people think this way to begin with is because there are some folks out there that when they enjoy a thing, they take it very personal when they come across someone who's talking down on it. This is in regards to food, music, movies, video games, anything. If a person really loves Kanye West Yeezus album, for example, hearing another person say, Yeezus by Kanye is so whack, bruh, that's easily one of his weaker albums. It will make that person feel some type of way because you're talking trash about something that they like, and they will take it personal even though you're not talking about them as a person. For a lot of people, if they like something and you call it trash, it's legit like impossible for them to separate their feelings from their actions. Instead of just going, hey, I mean, I rock with it and leaving it alone, they will like get mad at you for even saying it's trash in the first place. This is a whole nother conversation in itself that we're not about to have in this video. If you get offended because somebody says that they don't like something that you do like, you just have major issues. Bone Thugs and Harmony are my favorite rappers ever. I done told y'all this a million times. If someone commented on this very video and said, Bone Thugs and Harmony is garbage, they're easily the most overrated rap group ever, I'm not about to get offended by that. Like, I don't give a damn if you think Bone Thugs is garbage. Your opinion on them has nothing to do with me. This entry is reminding me of the whole Chris Tuckman situation. For those of y'all who don't know him, Chris Tuckman is essentially the Fantano of the movie world. He's one of the most famous movie reviewers on YouTube. He's been doing this for over a decade. Some months ago, Chris came out and said he's no longer going to do negative movie reviews on his channel. Unsurprisingly, Chris has been getting flack for this. People have been calling him a pussy and saying that he's being disingenuous by suddenly going, oh, I don't want to shit on movies anymore. Now, Chris is an indie filmmaker and he's trying to get his foot in the door more with Hollywood. So that's really what the reason is. He doesn't want to burn any bridges or any connections that he may get in the industry. But could y'all imagine if a music review YouTuber did that? Imagine if Fantano, the NFR Podcast Boys, a Spectrum Pulse, Tied in the Shadows. Imagine any of those dudes started making music themselves or started working really close with artists in the industry. And out of nowhere, they just went, you know what, guys? I'm no longer going to do negative reviews on my channel. I'm going to stop rating stuff as not good and speaking negatively on albums. If the score isn't at least a 5 out of 10, then I'm not even going to bother making the video. Those dudes would get cooked if they sold out like that. So when you're discussing how much you like an album, especially when it comes to one of your favorite albums of all time, I get to some degree how ranking the songs, choosing what your number one favorite song, what your least favorite song, I get why that can be difficult, but it certainly isn't impossible. Have you guys ever been in or seen a conversation of someone being asked what's their favorite song from an album and they say something like, Man, I don't know if I can pick a favorite song, man. All of the songs on this album hit. Asking me to pick my number one favorite is diabolical. I love all the songs on here for different reasons. Some of y'all are probably like that when it comes to discussing y'all favorite albums. Now, I can understand this to a degree when it comes to picking your favorite songs because you have different moods that you be in. You can go to each song for different reasons. I get that. But even if you can't pick one favorite, I feel like every album has a few songs that you can easily highlight over the other ones. Now, when it comes to choosing your least favorite song on an album, when I hear people say things like, man, I can't pick a least favorite. I love every song on here. That's when I think people are doing too much. If you get asked what's the worst song on a project or what song on here where even if you like the song, you don't like it as much as the other ones, to say I can't choose a least favorite or a worst one. I like every song on the album equally as much. That's some bullshit to me. This is a little bit similar to what I said in the number one entry. These type of responses come off as fanboying. You would instantly come off as a stan of an artist to me. If I ask you about a Nicki Minaj project, what's your least favorite song on Pink Friday? The first one, what's your least favorite? I don't have a least favorite. Every song on that album is amazing. I can't choose. If I ask you about the Marshall Mathers LP, what songs would you say are your least favorite from that album? I ain't got no least favorite song, man. That whole album is flawless. In my mind, you would instantly be labeled a barb, a stan, or just a fanboy of whatever artist we're talking about. I would be like, bruh, you can't be serious. How do you love every song? I'm sorry, bruh. I'm sorry. I just don't find it possible that a person can listen to an album and they can love every song on there equally as much. With the Eminem example, how can you listen to Under the Influence, Amityville, The Real Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers, The Way I Am, and say, I like all of these songs equally as much? You know good well there's at least one or two songs that will make you go, okay, I still like this song, but I don't know if I like it as much as this one. And again, like I mentioned in the first entry, the longer the album, the more ridiculous this statement is to me. If an album has 20 songs, and you can't look at that album and choose which songs that would have you like, okay, if I had to rank these songs would probably be top to bottom. Then off of that alone, you're overrating the hell out of the project that you're talking about. Let me reiterate something that I said earlier in this video. I don't attack people for thinking differently than I do. Even if I think what you're saying is some BS, I'll probably just say my piece and keep it pushing. But most of the time, I just ignore what I see. Like, I don't argue with people. For previous entries in this video, if I actually saw someone on social media say a 26-song album had no skips, I'm not about to reply to them and say they're a meat writer. If I came across someone that said, I don't like to call albums bad because there's always someone out there that enjoys it, I wouldn't reply to them and go, man, stop being a bitch, bro. I'm not that type of person where I try to force someone to have the same mindset as me. I bring this up because there was something I tweeted years ago, and I still 100% stand by this to this day. And this is really how I feel about music discussion. And I said, I'm not really into the whole argumentative side of hip hop like a lot of y'all are. If someone disagrees with a take I have on a song, album, or artist, I just say, all right, bro, and go on with my day. I don't see how y'all be spending a half hour arguing with each other. This tweet perfectly sums up how I react when I come across people that disagree with me. Even if I express my opinion that I disagree, I'ma just leave it at that. I'm not about to go back and forth with you about the subject. I'm surprised that people do act like that. I still see it to this day, especially on Twitter. You can come across a thread of people replying to each other over a period of several hours of them arguing about something. And every time I see that, I just be like, dude, why do y'all even care this much to have this long of a conversation? Like, y'all don't agree with each other, so just leave it alone. Another thing that I can say that perfectly sums up how I am on my YouTube channel as well, I never say anything in order to get people to agree with me. Nothing that I've ever said on my channel, I said it because I was trying to get other people's approval. People who watch my videos, y'all can disagree with something I say all y'all want to. That's not about to change my mind about how I feel just because y'all don't agree. I get comments all the time on my videos of people telling me they disagree with something I said or try to tell me I'm wrong for saying something is mid or trash. And I hardly ever respond to those people because I feel like there's no point to. Like, okay, I think this song is mediocre, you think it's great. Or, I think this album is great, you think it's mid. What are we supposed to talk about here? This is the reason why I specifically use the word defend in this entry, I'm not saying that I will never explain my opinion. Y'all hear me explain my opinion in my videos all the time. I specifically mean, once we establish that we don't agree with each other, I feel like there's no conversation to be had. If you listen to my explanation and you still go, well, I just don't agree with you, I'm gonna be like, okay, nigga, you don't have to. I'm not here to convince you of anything. Just because I say something in one of my videos or on a community post or on social media, that doesn't mean I have to get into a full-blown conversation about it. Like, I can explain my opinion if you ask me about it, but I don't have to. And some people will even disagree with that and say, nah, you a music YouTuber, you should be willing to defend your opinion. I have a perfect example to show you guys what I mean, and this video will be done after I tell this story. Some time ago, I had posted pictures of each tier that I had Drake songs in from my worst best Drake songs videos. Because those videos are long gone, I had made a community post showing people which tier I had each song in. And it was this dude that started pressing me on why I had headlines in the fire tier.
They saying I'm bad, I agree with that. I just take my time with all this shit, I still believe in that.
There was some kid named Raphael that commented, how can you have In Too Deep, Furthest Thing, Feel No Ways, Fountains, and Elevate in the mid tier, but you got headlines in the fire tier? This is absolute madness. This kid can't be taken seriously. First things first, not a single song that he named was in the mid tier, so I'm gonna tell y'all now, this dude wasn't even paying attention to the thing that he was commenting about. None of those songs was in the mid tier anyway. It's always people with no profile picture that be saying the darnest things. But this type of comment off rip is ridiculous to me. He's acting like we're talking about Ratchet Happy Birthday. You really got headlines in the fire tier? This is absolute madness. I can't take you serious. Like, boy, what? But I didn't say anything to this, so a couple of minutes later, this dude responded to me under somebody else's comment and said the same thing. You got some explaining to do. There is no world where headlines is better than Fountains, Feel No Ways, etc. So at this point, this is the second time that Donatello has complained about the tier that I put headlines on. So in my mind, I'm like, I don't have to explain anything. And so at first, as y'all see, I just sent him some question marks and was like, alright. This dude's next response was, you copping out? Pretty much like, oh, yo, you afraid to answer? Saying I'm a cop out for not answering his question. So I simply said, if you don't think headlines are fire, then that's okay. But you've already left 2 comments saying, ain't no way you got headlines over 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like, why are you whining so much about this? People like this Michelangelo kid blow my mind. There is a massive difference between simply sharing with someone your different viewpoints versus just flat out bitching that someone doesn't have the same opinion as you. And this guy was definitely doing the latter. This was his response after I asked him why was he whining so much. I'm not about to read the whole thing, but his excuse was, I'm really passionate about music and Drake is my favorite artist, so I really want to know. The line that caught my attention and the entire reason I have this entry in this video is when he said, you have an opinion that you share with us, you should defend your position. This right here is what I massively disagree with. Just because I made a community post showing what I think Drake's best songs are, doesn't mean I have to sit here and explain to you why I have certain songs on that list. And also, you didn't even ask me like a normal person. You were legit whining about it. This is absolute madness. I can't take you serious. You got some explaining to do. Like, why the hell do people act like this? You've made it very clear that you don't think Headlines is a fire song. So for you to ask me to explain why I think it's fire is a pointless conversation from the jump. I like the song and you don't, bro. Just leave it at that. To make this entire situation worse though, Leonardo was talking to somebody else and he even said that he used to think Headlines was a fire song. Leo told the other person, Headlines was fire in 2012. I used to play it all the time. That record is trash now and it's not getting played over any of these other records. So you used to like the song a lot, but now 12 years later, you're bugging YouTubers for why they like the song? I was like, bro, there is no way this kid is serious. The other person responded and told him, I think Headlines is well constructed, it's catchy, and it shows Drake back when he was hungry. It's an all-around enjoyable song. And the next line from Master Splinter made me shake my head to the strongest degree possible. This nigga told him, I agree with everything that you said. This man said Headlines is trash. Someone else said, I think it's an enjoyable song all around. And this fool said, I agree. People like this are exactly why I don't bother responding to people who disagree with me. And especially why I don't bother responding to people that talk like, man, you don't know what you talking about, bro, you tripping. If you're this type of individual that likes to press people that have a different opinion than you, then you might as well never comment on my channel because I'm not even going to entertain it.
maybe. What's way?
All right. Okay, so boom. Just like I made a video of ranking all of the freestyles from 2020 to 2024, I gotta do the same thing for the ciphers. Thank you to
This is the other side of Kirk Franklin prank. This is the reckoning. 2024.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Club Shay Shay. I am your host, Shannon Sharp. I'm also the proprietor of Club Shay Shay, the guy that's stopping by for conversation and a drink today. Ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna love him. Some call him the greatest, one of the greatest comedians, dead or alive. One of America's greatest entertainers, one of the funniest men on the planet, world-renowned, multi-talented, a comedy legend. He's he's the top touring comedian selling out arenas. He's a hilarious storyteller, Emmy award-winning actor, voice actor, rapper, writer, producer, director, icon, genius, a national treasure, philanthropist, humanitarian, social activist, a father, one of the great funny men of our generation and any generation, Mr. Katt Williams.
Thank you, sir.
How was that intro?
Magnificent. You are magnificent at intros, and you did not skimp on mine. I appreciate it.
Appreciate that. You know, anytime you come to Club Shay Shay, we have to toast.
Yes.
Bro, you've been doing it. I mean, you're one of the top one of the top touring comedians of all time. You already got started before we started taping.
I did.
Appreciate that. Tell the people at home.
I thought they was lying, and yeah, this particular alcohol is stronger than you think it would be, probably by about 2, and unbelievably smoother and milder by the same maybe 30% than you could possibly expect. And unlike cognacs the world over, this one doesn't taste like wood at the end, and it doesn't taste like it's got artificial colors, and it doesn't taste like it's got artificial flavors. It's a fine product.
He's a connoisseur. You can tell he's a cognac connoisseur. He understands the method that goes into making cognac.
Right. Well, as a comedian, you get free drinks at the club. So all comedians either turn out to be connoisseurs like myself, right, or straight up and down alcoholics like 60% of Hollywood.
Well, thanks for stopping by the club. I understand that you're very, very busy, and for you to take time out of your busy schedule and stop in today, we really, really appreciate it here at Club Shay Shay. Thanks for stopping by, Katt.
And I needed you to know why I came by.
Yeah, I need you to tell us why.
People know I don't go everywhere. I'm not interested in talking to people unless it's like a Larry King or somebody of an amazing ilk that I would actually want to go talk to in real life.
Okay.
I don't do it so I can sell product, and I got things to sell, so let me come talk. You have a great product here, and as a fan base, we love the attention that you spend on the guests. We love how much work you've done, how well you know them, how prepared you are. The same things that we liked about you in football. You brought that on over to here, and that's why it resonates. And the reason I had to come is because you've made a safe place for the truth to be told. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I have watched all of these lowbrow comedians come here and disrespect you in your face and tell you straight up lies. I'm talking about things that have never been heard in all of Black Hollywood. They feel comfortable sitting here lying to you about it.
You gonna set the record straight?
Are you kidding me? You let Ricky Smiley sit here and you said out that mouth, you stole Friday After Next, the one I was in. I wish all of America fumbled a bit when that happened. And then he said some stuff that we haven't heard in 100 years in Hollywood. You ain't say nothing. This man told you he had Katt Williams' role. He was gonna be Money Mike. And Katt Williams was gonna be the Santa Claus. Now let's three quick points. You mean in Hollywood they cast a 5'5" black Santa Claus that weigh 145 pounds? That's your story. Your story is the Ricky Smiley that couldn't even do curse words because he had a Christian fan base. He was gonna play the pimp. Why you didn't ask him why has he played a woman in more movies than he's played a man?
I didn't know
he shouldn't be able. You wouldn't let an athlete that's been on steroids talk about one of the greats. Ricky Smiley can't act because Ricky Smiley can't act. He told you the story about when the movie came out. When did he say he watched it? At home. He wasn't even at the premiere. You telling this man you stole that. Oh, so he can get his name in the same sentence with a great one. It is sad. He was just that bitter when we were shooting it. He told everybody, it should have been my role. Everybody on the scene. Why do you think no cast member has ever said anything?
He couldn't have played that role like you. I thought he was...
Sir, no one... Why no... He was with KD? He beat up Terry Crews? Why nobody know this story? You talking about in Hollywood, they switched off roles. You take this and he... What? So Ricky Smiley knows this. And I don't know why he would lose a child and come on the air and start lying. That's why people believe in rituals right there. It's because, well, why would he lie? I don't know why liars lie. But I can tell you this. We auditioned in Los Angeles.
Yes.
I was audition number 201. 200 black comedians auditioned for the role of Money Mike with me. You're saying all 201 of us was auditioning and you had already had the role and had already shot the role in 4 days? The truth of the matter is, the Money Mike in the original script got raped in the bathroom, and that's what Ricky Smiley was okay with. Katt Williams had to take the risk in front of the studios and the cast and our powers that be in his very first movie and say respectfully, humbly, guys, if we talking about anything else, I have no credibility and I have no pull. But we're talking about comedy, right, where I have all the credibility and all the pull. The problem with Friday After Next is we're trying to make a classic comedy. And this comedy involves a rape. And rape is never funny, no matter who it happens to or what the circumstances are. If you would allow me to allow us to do this movie without a black man getting raped in it, I promise you that it will be twice as funny as it would be with him getting raped. So considering that's the real story, why would you bring up that story? 35 members of the cast and crew have never brought up that Ricky Smiley was gonna play Money Mike. No one ever saw me put on a Santa Claus suit. We got a wardrobe department. They made a Santa Claus suit for me. Why that wasn't in the bloopers? Why? And here's the other thing. Everything that Money Mike said, Katt Williams wrote. So what Ricky Smiley say on his? You can't say my lines, I wrote them. That's how I already know that I'm gonna be funnier than you. What he told everybody was Katt Williams, and don't nobody know who he is. I'm on the radio. I'm with Steven Said. Everybody know me. That's what he told everybody that would listen to on the set. That's the truth of the matter. He was so egregious, not now, then. He was so egregious that, and Hollywood has never heard this in 100 years. He was so egregious, I put in my contract that I won't work with Ricky Smiley again unless he's in a dress. Now, what was Ricky Smiley's next movie? Was it First Sunday? Did he wear a dress in it? You bet he did. It's in my contract.
Why would you put that in your contract, Cat?
That's where he's a believable actor. Him and Tyler Perry can't play a man to save their life. They play good women, and I believe that the best actor should be in the best role.
So that's why, because when we released that clip and he said that, you responded because he said he was supposed to play Money Mike and you were supposed to play Santa Claus.
An outright lie.
So
that he knows is a lie.
So why would he say it?
Because he's a liar. Nobody knows why liars lie. And that's why I had to come on the program. Cedric did the same thing. Cedric told you when you asked him, did you steal Cat Williams' joke? Yeah. He said, it don't line up. How it don't line up that I did it on TV in 2018? You came to see me at the Comedy Store do it in 2019 and then did it on the Kings of Comedy. Like, what doesn't line up? This is a televised joke that Mark Curry helped me punch up and get to the level that it was. The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit and then he gets this high top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business. And it's a man unit. Then you ask it, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good over baby and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You would have to have a range. I played a lot of characters, 60 movie roles. I'm not playing Cat Williams in there.
I don't know, Cat. We might not let you drink anymore. Where we ain't even got.
I'm not fueled by alcohol. I've had a sip, less than you. The truth don't need motivation. I'm just saying I can't let these dudes lie. Cedric's sitting here telling you why he ain't a movie star. He over here look like a walrus. You didn't say nothing. He can't even get his arms off his stomach sitting over here. Why I'm not a movie star. What?
It's a situation.
He never wrote anything. Remember, when Cedric the Entertainer starts, he's supposed to be singing, dancing, and telling jokes. That's why he's called the Entertainer.
Right.
We found out he can't sing, can't dance, and doesn't write jokes. He did 4 comedy specials. They're so bad, Shannon, they're not available on Netflix or Tubi. Can I say that again for the audience? They're so bad that they're not available on Netflix or Tubi.
You don't think Sam's a good comedian?
The world doesn't think that, sir. I have 12 comedy specials. He has 4 specials that are not available on Netflix or Tubi.
It seems to me, Cat, that you had a lot to get off your chest.
No.
You wanted to set the record straight.
Winners are not allowed to allow losers to rewrite history. I don't say any of these things if my name is not breached by these people on your platform. If you give a liar a platform to lie, then I'm not being messy by saying, hold on, that never happened, it's untrue, and there are hundreds of witnesses for each thing I'm saying.
So let me ask you this. What is your relationship with Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, and Cedric the Entertainer as you sit here currently?
For 30 years, they're a group. These aren't 3 random guys. The way that Ricky Smiley kept appearing at all of my auditions is because of Steven said he would tell anybody that, listen, they got a gang on that side. They know what it is. They know who the gang is. Why Earthquake not in movies? Because he's illiterate. He can't read. And they found that out when they gave him a show and put the cards in front of him. Like, all of these dudes are co-entwined and they share secrets, and this is the age of truth. And the truth doesn't need to be scared of the fact that people tell lies. Cats on drugs. Where are the stories? Why is there no story of anybody who ever sold a drug to me, did a drug with me, was around me when I was inebriated? I got 5 daughters. I got 5 sons. Why would we tell these ridiculous stories? Because it's competition. You feel like, well, why comedy comedy guys can't just get along.
Yes.
Why didn't you get along with the other teams you were competing against? If you're a Denver Bronco, why you don't get along with the Cowboys? Something wrong with you?
But I don't disagree. I don't dislike all the Cowboys. Cat, damn, you like this?
No, that's
okay,
not.
What comedian do you like?
Did you play against the team?
Yes.
I've taken 46 comedians with me on the road. 46.
Okay.
I'm not the comedian you can give that to. I only put on comedians that are funnier than me. Anybody that ever told you differently was a fat Faison liar. There's nobody like me in the business.
Faison just told straight.
Faison said that getting a Netflix special is easy. I have 12 specials. Guess how many Faison got? 0.
So
why is he allowed to have conversations about real stand-up people? We do not let people who are on the juice discuss real athletes. That's all. As a journalist. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't harbor any resentment to any of these entities because I can't be jealous. I've never seen them have anything that I ever wanted. If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview. Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and that she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TGJ, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I need to have that number.
Amen.
I know. I'm getting on here.
Right.
After that, I don't really kind of know where to go. One more time.
Right.
We good now?
Because the people want to know, why would you get blackballed?
Yeah.
Oh, because in 30 years I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing,
you will tell it.
No, somebody come to tell me.
Okay.
I gather that, I value that, I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it. They all know it. Why? Because you don't make me the villain. Not the guy that raises black children and ain't never done a hard drug in his life and don't have no stories of doing nobody dirty. And they'll just go out and they'll lie. The industry doesn't mess with Katt because he didn't show up for the studio. No studios have ever said that. Look at my IMDb. It will show you that no studio has ever lost money with me on the script. How? That's why I'm saying, that's why I can't let Ricky Smiley say he was supposed to play Money Mike. Because I wrote the words for Money Mike. I designed the hair for Money Mike. I collaborated with the wardrobe department and made outfits to make sure that no one in America would be wearing what Money Mike was wearing. I told him to go get the Prowler. I then told him to paint it purple. I told him don't have an actor playing a pimp. We could get an actual pimp, Archbishop Magic Don Juan to play. Like, I did far too much work for somebody to come years later and try to tag along just for their own self-aggrandizement.
Why didn't Cube set the record straight? Terry Crews could have set the record straight. Mike Epps could have set the record straight. Why none of them set the record straight?
That's what you were supposed to ask him when he told you those lies that no one's ever heard. Right, but he's telling you something no one's ever heard of. Nobody has ever heard. Oh, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon was in a movie, and somebody said, y'all should switch roles. Like, this is a business.
But that's the thing, Kat. Normally when people are giving you information, I'm thinking I'm hearing it for the first time, and they're giving information no one else knows or has ever heard. So I'm taking them at face value.
These are this is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey wasn't never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash and doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the stories. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her. Then you went and married somebody else that think like a man. Like, what are you talking about? They think they can rewrite history. Guy Torrey did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday, where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made all lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show. There being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words. He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you. Like, it's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars not get to make complete narratives for themselves.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people. That's why, you know what the #1 job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? If what I say ain't the case. It's a cabal. It's a consortium. They rock with who they rock with and they don't with who they don't. But I'm not scared of being the competition any more than you were when you lined up across from a superior team. Yeah, on paper, they're a better team.
Right.
They have all the assets and resources and we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. I guarantee you it won't.
Wow.
Because Shannon Sharp got to be a different person than that other person.
Absolutely.
And he always was. That doesn't change when I change teams. That remains the same. That's how a legacy is built. So all of these shortcut takers, they canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there, there's 3 other black guys on there. Woo. Huh.
So you wonder what they did to get
I told him no. What y'all do? And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down. Behind my back, I'm nothing. I'm just a regular old comedian that's bitter and jealous. But in my face, no. The king has walked in and they have to respect it only because I've not taken the shortcuts. I've not been funded. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about. They tell you that themselves. I can't do that because Steve told you that he stopped doing stand-up because he had 7 TV shows. The only problem is when he stopped stand-up, he didn't have those 7 TV shows. He stopped stand-up because he got in a comedy battle called the Championship of Stand-Up Comedy with one Katt Williams in Detroit in front of 10,000 people and lost because Katt Williams said he was actually bald and that was a wig. And I went in, and that's why he couldn't do stand-up anymore. Imagine him coming to tell you another story where he got so big and it was Bernie and them's fault because they wanted to be movie stars. What? You called Ocean 11 to get that nigga's part. What do you mean you didn't want to be a movie star? So on the behalf of Bernie, I would have to say what I have to say.
Have you ever been on tour with any of these guys?
Every guy I mentioned to you is not funny out there in real life. So no. Faison's never done his own tour in 30 years. Steve Harvey don't do stand-up no more. Cedric doesn't write. I'm sorry, he doesn't write. Ricky Smiley has been playing the same old black woman forever. Like, you can't get a young fan base with that. Like, you gotta be doing karaoke around the country to make that work.
Right.
And he is. But I'm a stand-up comedian. This is my 19th 100-city tour. I'm not gonna have a conversation with these lazy bums that'll take a shortcut at any point. Yes, it's easier for you to juice than to get in the gym, but you don't get to bring that body in here talking crazy.
Talk about how good you look.
What? No, there's too many comics out there that are putting their life on the line to tell these jokes, man.
Okay, let's get to your upbringing. We're gonna circle back and we get some,
I want to protect it real quick, because you had said for the Kings of Comedy, it was in 2018, 2019, but did you mean 1999? Because it came out in 2000, so I just want to make sure.
No. So what I meant to say was, remember, he said I couldn't do stand-up anymore. I had 7 TV shows. I said he didn't have any of those TV shows at the time.
I know you talking about Cedric. Cedric.
Okay,
so. 2018, 2019, but it came out in 2000, so I just want to make sure.
Okay, no. What comes out in 2000?
The original Kings of Comedy.
Right. I'm on BET's Comic View, and they're using this as the commercial in 1998. Okay. That's why I'm saying, yeah. So if I said the dates wrong, let's
go back and clear that up.
Okay.
You said, I had Cedric on here, and I asked him about the joke stealing, and he said the timeline doesn't add up.
Correct.
To that point, you say.
Right, so he thought that I was just a no-name comedian and that he could take this joke and nobody would know.
Right.
The issue was that I had already done this particular joke on BET's Comic View twice.
Right.
It had done so well on BET's Comic View that they had made it part of the commercial. So part of the commercial of make sure you tune in to BET was you seeing me doing this joke.
Right.
And this joke is one of those jokes in comedy where you set it up and it takes a little longer to set it up, takes about 3 minutes, but then you're just hitting them with jokes after that because you don't have to set it up.
Right.
Mark Curry had already helped me work on this joke because I thought it was good because I was getting a standing ovation on it. He had me go back in the lab and help me craft it to be an even more powerful joke. So this is not just a random joke. This is my very best joke, and it's my last joke, and it's my closing joke.
Okay.
1998, I'm doing this joke. It's on Comic View. Cedric comes to the Comedy Store. He watches me in the audience. He comes backstage. He tells me what a great job I did and how much he loves the joke. 2 years later, he's doing that as his last joke on the Kings of Comedy. And he's doing it verbatim. He's just changed my car into a spaceship. Him and Steve had already apologized for me, so I gave him a pass for a decade. Why would you sit here and be like, I saw Katt 30 times, and Katt didn't do, as I stand before you, Shannon. I would have bust Cedric's stomach. There was nothing that would have kept me from one of these in that patch right there. Like, are you kidding me? Why would you downplay me like that? Why did I give you a pass if you were just gonna lie? And so that's what I'm saying. Like, they're all a group. Cedric, Steve, Ricky, they've been a group. Everybody knows that. They've been aligned. And there are these alliances in comedy. And if you stand against them, then they sometimes have a problem. But we don't let that change the content, because that's all you know me for, is that I'm quite likely to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Can you believe we're this deep into the NFL season? We got to make every second count. With DraftKings Sportsbook, you can make the most out of every game day. Bet on your favorite teams for a shot at winning big bucks. New customers can